powerful, wonderful edible mushroom. And you see, this is just part of one.
Yeah.
This is all part of that same one grows on the sides of trees.
Yeah.
It's called a chicken of the woods.
Chicken in the woods. Ooh.
Now, it's called chicken of the woods because it literally sort of looks like chicken flesh, and it tastes like chicken. I mean, when you cook anything, hey, that's sort of like a piece of chicken. You'll see this growing on the sides of hardwood trees.
I've seen a bunch of them.
I had never seen one that's pretty and orange like that. I've seen the white and black ones.
I hike all the time.
Maybe those are healthy.
And this is the time of year they're popping up right here. You go up in the Smokies, it's a May, June fungus.
Yeah.
Here, it's the early part of fall when it cools off, when all the other ones are coming up. And the other one popping up right now that is really good to eat, but it's also real medicinal, is called lion's mane or bear's head. And you'll see this on the side of hardwood trees, usually about 10 or 15 feet up. Though sometimes it'll come off the roots as well. This one, when you cut it, it's got solid white flesh inside, and it tastes like seafood. So what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll saute some shrimp and garlic together in a little oil, then add this, saute this in with it, and put the whole thing on some angel hair pasta. And I'm talking as good as any restaurant stuff you'll get. It's that delicious.
So their two names, chicken.
This is chicken of the woods.
Okay.
Now the other one that people say, oh, that sounds similar, is hen of the woods. Hen of the woods looks somewhat similar, but they're brown to beige to a mild whitish color, and they grow at the base of oak, big old oak trees. So if you got like old growth oak or just a large white oak, especially, usually it's white oak they pop up on. You'll see it looks like somebody stuck a hen turkey and just stuck her face first in the dirt and her butt sticking up.
But it's good to eat as well.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Hen of the woods.
Hen of the woods.
Hen, like a hen.
Okay, so chicken.
It's chicken of the woods. Tastes like chicken. The other one's hen of the woods, and it just tastes woodsy and smoky, and it's one of my favorite ones to eat. And they're just now going to start popping up in this part of the country, and we're about as far south as you'll find them too.
Do you eat that raw?
No, you don't eat any mushroom but button mushrooms raw. Not that it's toxic, but the cellulose content in it, our body can't digest it real well, and it'll hurt your stomach. Whereas we'll let Jamie slice this up and fry it. If y'all want to slice them up and try it,
Yeah,
it's really good. So they can see it.
We got oil waiting too.
All right, see how pretty and white it is?
Oh, how pretty! It's like a potato.
Oh, you're in charge. I'm talking. Anyway, and you can either saute this in with shrimp, crawfish, whatever you want to do, and
watch out, it's flatter. That's pretty good.
and then you can also just saute it like this and eat it as is. The interesting thing about this is not only are these mushrooms edible, they're all highly medicinal too. In fact, this is the only one that it actually regrows nerve cells. So you've got somebody with Parkinson's, MS, any degenerative nerve disease, this helps to regrow that nerve sheath around the nerve. So you're getting good food, and you're getting something that's highly medicinal as well.
They come out of freeze.
This goes on the side of the tree. You can't miss it. And it'll be this is the third year I'm cutting off this one tree. So until it eats that tree up, it's going to pop up year after year at the same time, depending on the weather. So about the 1st of September, you start looking. And the 1st of October, you really start looking, because that's when all of these things are starting to make their appearance. Now, the only mushroom right here, a couple of them that grow on wood that are poisonous, is one called the deadly gallerina, and it looks like a tiny little brown mushroom, like that big, sort of a wet-looking cast, and it's one here, and then one here, one here. So that's why you don't. And it'll grow on the log, on the root. That's why you don't eat what are called LBMs, little brown mushrooms. There's not enough of them to make a good meal off of, and they're too hard to identify for most people. I think it's got brown spores on it. But all of these, obviously not a little brown mushroom. No mistake. You've got another mushroom called a jack-o'-lantern mushroom. which grow them big clusters, and they're orange like this chicken in the woods, but they look like mushroom-shaped mushrooms. And it looks real good.
It's deadly.
Almost like scallops.
Oh yeah, can we get a plate? They're about done.
Okay, we came in late. Is this a mushroom?
Yes, this is called bear's head or lion's mane. You want to try the first one?
I got you right here.
I'm gonna try that fish thing. We don't want to get them tough. Pass those around. Oh, it's got garlic on them? They should be pretty good.
So leave alone most of these grows in the ground then.
Let me have one of them.
You don't have puffball down here.
Yeah.
I'm Indiana.
Oh yeah, y'all got the big ones up there too. Yeah, they're good.
Basketball
Y'all eat them up there? Yeah. They're good too. Y'all got a lot of good morels around.
much better.
Yeah, I love morels.
Oh, I'm fine.
But this is an easy one to identify, easy one to find.
Good. That's real
This is
good.
one though, if you throw in some garlic, some shrimp, the little saute, put it over your pasta. Delish. Oh, another late summer, early fall mushroom we have here that you can find lots of. Last month was when they came up, are chanterelles. And they're a little orange trumpet-shaped mushroom, and we've got a brown one too, that when you cook them, they smell like apricot stew.
We should call this a tree scallop.
Did you try it?
Tree scallop.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's got the texture of a scallop.
Yeah, a little bit left, and that's basically what you're getting.
On your right.
Between them,
Y'all want to try the chicken of the woods?
There you go.
Yeah. All right, let's do the chicken of the woods.
All right.
Tastes just like scallops.
Yep. Chicken wood tastes just like chicken.
Just a slice of piece.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah. You slice it up just like chicken meat. Except it's orange on one side.
Now, this didn't come off the trees, did it?
Yeah, they grow on trees.
Yeah, I've seen those. I always thought they were just pretty. Well, I didn't know whether you could
I've
eat
got a
them.
big old oak tree stump that grows them things every
These
fall.
grow on
Yeah,
hardwoods,
until
right?
it eats it all away, they're going to be there.
Well, we got oak and hickory all over it.
All right. Just remember, if in 24 hours you die, don't blame me.
Oh, and this is the one where you eat a little bit.
Just eat, yeah, don't eat. This is the first, chicken of the woods, when you first eat it, don't eat tons of it, because about 15-20% of the population, it doesn't sit well with your stomach. It's not poisonous, but there's a genetic component there, and it just doesn't agree. So try a small bite, about the first time.
You need more.
Everybody's saying waivers, right?
Yeah.
You need more fire?
But it's not a poisonous one. It's just that some people's bodies just don't agree with it.
I'm just, that's funny.
This is a good one to cook in, like making chicken spaghetti, chicken stew, things that you want to make like a full soup or stew with. I've never just sauteed it, so we're going to try and see how it turns out. But it's a good mushroom to eat. And most people are scared to death of mushrooms because they think they're going to drop dead poisonous. And the reason being is where are most of our ancestors from? England, Scotland, Ireland, Germany, Scandinavia. They did not have traditions, and Native Americans here didn't either. Did not have a tradition of foraging mushrooms. Now you went to France, Italy, parts of Russia, they did, and they weren't afraid of them, whereas we had a tradition of what do you equate in the old fairy tales with witches? Toadstools, mushrooms, And those old fairy tales were meant to keep kids safe because they couldn't read or write back then. So if you equated a mushroom and a witch, you're going to stay away from the mushroom because there's going to be a witch hiding out or a gnome or something. And so the English brought that fear of mushrooms over. And so we have this really unrealistic fear that we're going to get something and drop down dead. And there are actually relatively few poisonous mushrooms in this country. Relatively.
So you're right there.